Carrying through something else was permissible on Shabbos. A person can pick up his son, even though his son is holding a stone. Oh, by the way, we're moving to the Beis Medrash as of tomorrow night. Right here.
No.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Really?
Why? What's wrong with this?
Why?
I don't know, because I like Swarm. I like having Swarm around.
Oh, you mean
You wanted it.
You mean the lighthouse?
They didn't
Beis
give
Medrash.
Yeah.
Not the shul.
Because I didn't know it was available both nights, but he told me it's available.
That's right.
We should move tonight. Which way?
The one in the front.
No, it's hard to hear over there.
Yeah,
It is hard?
The chairs are also not comfortable.
Okay, fine. So we'll just stay.
We'll just stay there.
What? Yeah, for sure. Okay. Okay. You can pick up your son even though he has a stone in his hands. It's not considered that you're carrying the stone. That's only if the son is upset if you don't pick him up. He's crying. If you don't lift him, he's going to be sick. When it talks about sick here, it doesn't mean that he's literally going to need to go to the doctor. It means that he's not going to calm down. He's not going to calm down. You have no way of calming him down unless you pick him up. He's crying uncontrollably. Yeah. But if he has no yearning for him, it's forbidden. And the Mefarshim explain that even though you're not picking up the stone directly, neither are you doing it in a way of kalach hayad. It's not kalach hayad because he's holding it in the normal way and you're holding him in the normal way. So that's not kalach hayad. So therefore, unless there's a strong reason to allow it, they don't allow it. Even if he does not have this desire so much, even if he does have it, it's only allowed by a stone. But if he has a coin in his hands, you can't even hold his hand. We're afraid that the coin is going to fall and he's going to lift it up.
Son?
No, the father. Making an exer for the son.
No, I'm saying,
the son is already carrying. The son is already carrying it.
the coin.
The coin.
So if the coin falls, who's picking it up?
Father might.
The father might pick it up.
I'm saying, here.
If the son picks it up, he's already picking it up.
First guess.
If the son is picking it up, he's already picking it up. So I'm not going to make exer. You can't hold his hand because the son might pick it up. He's already carrying it.
That's what I'm saying. There.
No, that's what we're concerned. The son might drop it, and then the son forgets about it. What does he care? It's a coin, big deal. It doesn't mean anything to him. Father doesn't want to lose the money. Pick it up. Understand? That's the issue.
So basically, it's a baby at home and holding a Muktzah, shouldn't pick him up.
No. Unless he's crying and he wants you to pick him up, and also he doesn't want to let go of it.
Okay, but Rav, I have a question. How about toys that are Muktzah?
Just one second. If he's crying and he wants you to pick him up, but you could get him to drop the stone and he won't cry, so make him drop the stone and then pick him up.
Any type of Muktzah or the Muktzah government?
Like toys.
We're allowed to be in the house though.
You mean kalach like klishalach le'isr? Klishalach le'isr is it's probably a mutar. I didn't see it clearly, but it's probably a mutar.
We're talking about Muktzah government.
Yeah. So it would seem. Moshe, go ahead.
How about toys that are Muktzah that the kid picks up and he drops on the floor? I mean,
Toys that are Muktzah, what about them?
if he drops it on the floor, it's an expensive toy. I mean, would there be a heter, obviously, on that?
That's an interesting question. I said that if you can make him drop it, you're supposed to make him drop it. Just like you're supposed to not pick him up if he's not crying. You're supposed to make him drop it if he's not going to cry to drop it.
You're allowed to hold his hand and shake his hand so you can drop it?
Yeah.
What's it?
Yeah.
What was it like?
Moshe is asking, what if the toy is expensive? He's holding an expensive Muktzah item. It doesn't have to be a toy. He's holding an expensive Muktzah item. You make him drop it, it might break.
You drop it on the sofa, on the pillow.
There's no pillow around.
Huh?
I mean, let's say there is no pillow.
So you
Can
have
you-
to drop it from high. If you say, let's say, phone, if you show that it's on the floor, you shake his hand.
So, but then it's going to be on the floor. Maybe it'll get stepped on. I mean, you still have an issue.
You know about the kitchen?
Look at-
Did you?
You can take it.
You're not gonna want to pick it up. Right now, good.
We are going to see later. We are going to see later that there are cases. We're going to see later that there are cases that you're allowed to move Muktzah by. Actually, no, it doesn't apply here. In some cases, you're allowed to move Muktzah, something else, but it can't be to protect the Muktzah itself. That's not a good reason to allow you to move Muktzah even through something else. So yeah, I think you have to. I don't think you're allowed to have him hold it rather than have him drop it because you're protecting it. At least I can't think of a heter right now. Let's see if the Alter Rebbe discusses it.
Maybe that's you can't pick him up. You can't hold his hand if he's holding your stand. This expensive item. He's gonna yield to it. You know.
So you're saying you can't make him, so you have to make him drop it basically, but you can't pick him up.
שיש לו כדבים עליו, הציעו היה לו בטחון, אבל סמינה בידו, הציעו לעשות את כל בידו, והוא מערך בערב בסוף, and obviously picking up, even holding his hand. Sheena Dillman, not feel the out there going to you. You're going to pick up the same, what's the difference between that and a, you know,
Right.
expensive phone?
No, I hear what you're saying. You're saying it should apply to anything expensive.
I think that it's Muktzah Gomer because it's not expensive, but
Right, so she's telling me.
Something Muktzah Gomer is, something very expensive is Muktzah Gomer, yeah. You're asking basically, is it a dinner only, or is it any expensive Muktzah item? That's your question.
Well, something that you're chas on. That's what the Rav was explaining. Sheena Dillman, not for.
Moshe, you hear what Rafal is saying? Moshe? Hello? You there? Rafal is saying that it should be also anyway to pick it up, to pick up the child.
I'm sorry, no, I was having issues with my phone. Yes, I'm hearing.
Rafal is pointing out that if it's an expensive item, you shouldn't be allowed to pick up the child who's holding it anyway, because it's like a coin. It should be similar to a coin, it should be asar.
So in a situation like that, what do you tell a child that has this item? I mean, he doesn't have, I mean, is a child that cannot be carried at all. I mean, it's a child that he has to be carried. He cannot walk on his own. I mean, he's barely walking. And you're gonna tell them, does he have the motor skills to say, okay, put that thing away or put it down?
What's that, what?
He says, "Behu adin shar muktzah." Lav dafka in Hebrew. You're going et. Oh, that's any goof.
Gufa, that is not Gufa. That is Tushma Fleisa.
But I mean, so what do you do in a situation that he doesn't want to let it go? You'll have a tantrum.
You can't pick him up.
אסור אפילו במקום שנוגע.
So ממש אסור.
חשש חולי בן, כיוון שלא הרבה חשש סכנת נפש.
You can't pick him up. If it's something that you might be tempted to lift, to pick up, if he drops it, you're not allowed to pick him up.
Makes sense. Okay.
How do you get him to put it down in a safe place is another question.
That's because he might not have the motor skills yet to figure that out.
Yeah. That's what you got to figure out. You let him have it in the first place. You should have been more careful.
Exactly.
Now you're stuck. All right. Some say it's only usher if he's carrying the child, not holding his hand, but carrying. But to hold the child by his hand. Even though the dinner is in his hands, it's no problem. Yoram is asking for the link. Give me a second. Sorry? What? If the child is a boy?
A child.
What's the difference? Oh, we're not going to be concerned with his illness. We'll still be concerned that you have something expensive that he holds.
So the Muktzah is not dafka?
No, the gaguim is dafka. Only concern of the gaguim if it's a child, you're a Jewish child. Yeah. I assume it's only because that's the one he's going to have gaguim towards. He's not going to want to be picked up by a stranger.
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry. I couldn't hear. What was the word? The gagulim?
Gaguim is the child wants to be held. He's missing his father. So I think the father is an example. It's just an example of a close relative. Yeah. Yeah. Beis, kalkala shoyse nekuva. A basket that had a hole in it. Usasama bevan, and he closed. Beis. Number 2. Nope. Yep. Usasama bevan, and he closed it with a stone.
Are we in the machaber?
Yes, we are. Mortalotoutla, you're allowed to carry it. And that's a gedoifna because it became like the wall. You stuck a stone into the hole in the basket to close up that hole. That stone has become part of it. It's not muktzah anymore. It's part of the basket. Similarly, if you have a gourd, like a dried out pumpkin, and you use it to fill water from the well, but it's too light, it doesn't go under the water. So you attach a heavy stone into it, and through the stone, you're able to lower it into the water. If it was tied well in such a way that it's not going to fall out, you're allowed to fill it. It becomes like the gourd itself. It becomes nullified to it. But if not, it's aser because. Sorry? I never started the Alter Rebbe. Started the Machaber. I never started that.
So if the child's carrying a regular Muktzah and say, grab something, baby, grab something that's Muktzah, I can't pick it up.
Unless he's crying, and it's not a thing that you'll care about if it falls.
What's the second thing?
It's not something you're going to care about if it falls.
Right. So I'm saying, but in a general, very regular case, you want to change your kid. He's playing with something, you can just pick him up and go bring him something.
If it's a thing that you would be tempted to pick up. If it's a muktzah toy that he has.
He's not crying. You need to
he's not crying? No.
You need to change it. He's holding something. You can't just take him where you need to take him.
No.
Do we need to
Shake it out of his hands first. Yeah. We're going to learn similar things with, right now it says, this basket has a stone in it. If the stone is not attached to it's not a basket, it's a gourd. If the stone is not attached, so it doesn't become part of it, so it's a muktzah stone.
From before Shabbos.
Sorry?
Shabbos.
What?
If there's someone who's there before Shabbos?
Stones are before Shabbos. Before Shabbos. You can't pick up the basket with the stone on it because that's not called tiltul k'achayad. It's tiltul al yedei davar acher, not tiltul k'achayad. When you carry something that's on top of something else, that's not called k'achayad. That's a normal way, so you have to get rid of it. And there are exceptions to that rule. And the child that's crying, that's a stone, is an exception. But generally, that's the rule. You cannot carry a muktzah item through carrying something else.
How would you get rid of it?
Tip it over. In the case of the basket, tip it over.
This is not related to buses.
This is very related to buses. We're going to learn about buses right now. Buses. Buses means a support for muktzah, which becomes muktzah itself. That is a very big aspect of this siman. But we'll get to it. A basket that's full of fruit that has a stone in it. Okay, now this basket, by the way, is not muktzah.
But in this case, actually took the stone and make a tool for me to block the hole. So it's not like just a stone rather than stone. Actually using it to use for something.
Exactly. That's why it's not muktzah. That's why it's not muktzah. If you stuck it into the hole, it's not muktzah. Or if you tied it to the gourd, so it becomes part of it. If it's just sitting there, then it's muktzah.
in case for the muktzah, you don't care. It's not, sorry. The question is where you fold your house, dinar. What?
I mean, you still care. You don't want money on the floor. You could lose it after all. It doesn't say dafka chatzar. It says a chatzar. The Mishnah Berurah says the Marishu b'chatzar the ein ba'ele eser mishum tilto, mishum saradin al b'shus rabbi v'adiyasar. It's a chatzar, not a rishus rabbi. It doesn't mean not a house.
Meaning a chatzar is shared. My house is my house. Money in my house, I never shash.
I don't think it makes sense.
What's outside, I know I'm going to lose it. What's in my house, it's already where I want it to be.
I mean, you don't want money lying on the floor. You know, nobody wants money lying on the floor.
Well, how about the particular happen to make it sure in the house?
Sorry?
One of the tick the push came all the change spread. I'm like the left to the back.
Oh!
But it's all over
לא, שמעת על האלף.
Just kick it. You can kick it. Kick it as you're walking. That's all you can do.
Get like to take your broom and sweep it to the side.
You take a broom and sweep it in the dustpan? And then move the dustpan?
I don't think you can move it either with a broom. I don't think so.
Sweep it to the side and when it gets hurt, you can start it.
Hurt. If people would get hurt, then yes. If people would get hurt, yes. But if not, I don't think there's a hatred to move even with a broom. Even though they
It's
never
not
have.
in and of itself dangerous. Meaning it's not like glass. It's not like shards of pottery that are the slightest step on that maybe pottery not, but glass, the slightest step that will hurt you. This is if you just slow it. Walk fast.
I understand. No, it's so dangerous. It doesn't have to be that the thing is that's some dangerous. It's going to cause a danger. It
No,
could
but I
be-
saw the pottery that someone you could step on.
Because there it's going to break. There it's the pottery's going to break, but nobody's going to get hurt.
No. When pottery broke. So he said that if you step on pottery, it will break. It won't hurt you.
Okay, so it won't hurt you. Won't hurt you. He's saying here you might slip.
Right.
I don't know.
I guess in my mind I was thinking that it could also be sharp.
Okay, so you know what? Let's
Let
talk.
them do it. I'm allowed or no? Just to limit the weight is the position.
If it's not dangerous, I don't have a heter to move it, unless it's kalach hayad.
With the broom not gonna out,
No, broom is not gonna yet. It's called tiltul agedei davar acher. Sorry? You can what?
with my foot. Foot.
Foot, yeah. As you're walking.
As I'm walking, I just letting it just moving it.
Alter Rebbe says you can do it as you're walking. Derech hiluchai. Derech hiluchai is kalach. Yep. That's my only haftar. Was that gonna help?
Does everyone hold it the whole halacha? Or does
No. I've seen some say you could just kick it.
Right, usually like, so let's say, for example.
But one second. As far as the going back to moving it with the broom, there are some that say that you are allowed. The move al yedei davar acher. The Alter Rebbe holds you not. What are you going to say?
That's with the dustpan. You move into a dustpan and then move the dustpan.
Yeah,
That doesn't help you.
Like, how do you say?
Doesn't help you.
What do you say, like, saying it's not dangerous?
Yeah.
What?
Charles,
Moving into a dustpan is not going to help you because when you're moving it out of the way, you're moving it for the purpose of the coins. Whenever something is muktzah on something not muktzah, and it's not a basis, right? We're going to learn about basis soon.
from the dustpan and the thing, what you're talking about?
The purpose of the movement cannot be for the muktzah item. The purpose of the movement can't be. It has to be either for the thing that's holding it. You need it somewhere else, or you need the other thing that it's with somewhere else, or it's in the way. Those are your right there.
Even Muktzah with Muktzah?
Yeah.
Muktzah with Muktzah, you can't use it.
No, if it's on something else, and you
Other
need-
things though.
no, if it is on top of something else and it's all in the way, This is in the way, and the Muktzah Machmas Gufa is in the way, so you're allowed to lift it and move it away.
So let me ask you, I was at
Sorry?
the coins, like in the ball. Put a magnet in the ball. I put an apple also. And bring it next to the coins and hold the coins straight. Go to the magnet and hook the hook.
We're not in the movies.
Yes, no. You're out there.
I don't know. Too complicated. Magnets are too complicated for me.
Coins don't have to make.
Okay.
So why if it's a coin is Muktzah Machmas Gufa, if it is in the dustpan, the Rav is saying that the dust
You can only move it if it would be in the dustpan already. I don't know how you would get it in there. But if it's in the dustpan and it's in the way, the dustpan and the coins, then you're allowed to move it.
Can I put something Muktzah on the dustpan?
You don't have to. What's the point?
Move it.
For what? For what purpose? Why are you moving it?
I'm allowed to.
What is your purpose in moving it? I'm
For
asking.
kids not to touch it. I don't know.
Not to touch the coins? No. Then putting something mutter is not going to help.
Because I want to
Because
put my apple
your
on-
main
I
objective,
want to wash my apple to the sink.
so lift up the apple, wash it next to the sink.
Is
It's not going to help you.
having a young kid not with the points in his mouth is good reason enough to move the points?
I don't think so. Just keep the kid away. Keep
That's
the
much
kid
more
away.
dangerous than slipping.
Look at that.
I think that's a bigger danger. My son with my 1.5-year-old kid with a bunch of coins on the floor, it's going right as hell.
I hear you. Okay, so here's the story with the buses, my friends.
Did you finish the assignment? No.
I'm sorry? So Gimel?
Base.
Base I did, yeah.
You finished it?
Yeah. Okay, here's the story with bus. I want to tell you about buses a little bit before we continue because it's very important. A buses means something that is a support for a muktzah item is muktzah itself. If it was a support of the muktzah item when Bein Hashmashas started, and the whole Bein Hashmashas it was supporting the muktzah item, and the muktzah item was left there on purpose, not by accident, and the muktzah item is the only item on it, Or even if there's a non-muktzah item, the muktzah item is more expensive and more important than the other item, then the bottom thing becomes a basis. Let me go through the conditions again. First of all, it has to be on, the muktzah has to be on top of the non-muktzah, the entire bein hashmashos, beginning to end. Condition number one. Condition number two is that it has to be left there on purpose, not by accident, not forgotten. Condition number three is that it has to be either the only thing there or the most expensive and important thing there.
We have all three conditions to be, sorry.
Then it's going to be a basis. And then the thing that's underneath it is going to be muktzah the whole Shabbos. Even if you kick the muktzah thing off, the thing underneath it is going to remain muktzah.
So if you have the whole three nine, we're not allowed to hold basis.
Exactly.
But if I'm missing one of them,
Not a basis.
not a must.
Correct.
So we need all three.
Correct.
So to be ben hashmashot,
All bein hashmashos,
to
correct.
be expensive one.
Expensive. It has to be, the muktzah thing has to be the most expensive or important thing on it.
The basis.
It doesn't have to be expensive. It could be cheap, but it has to be more expensive than anything else.
Another one?
It has to be left there on purpose, not by accident, on purpose, not by accident, not forgotten.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
And that last one knocks out a lot of mistakes.
Yes, indeed. Okay, my friends. So here's the story. You have a basket. What we're going to learn about in Siv Gimel is a basket that has fruit and a stone in it. And we're going to learn when you can move the basket with the stone and when you have to get rid of the stone before you can move the basket. But the reason I gave that introduction about the buses now is because it's important to know that this basket is not a buses because the fruit is more important than the stone. So therefore it's not a buses. It's not usher as a buses. The only issue is the tiltul agadei davar acher issue. That at the end of the day, you are moving the stone by moving the basket, which we don't allow in the first place, like we see with the sun. You have to get rid of it, right? So that's the issue. All right, with no further ado.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What if the muktzah item is as equal, as important or expensive as another item?
If it's more expensive,
As that.
exactly the same,
You don't know how to tell. Say my watch and my phone. And I left my phone on my etc. on my phone blink on purpose, and I left my watch.
Like a golden phone case.
what I remember from my yeshiva days is that there are diyukim soisrim. There are opposite implications. Some places it says that as long as it's not as long as the muktzah is not more expensive. Some cases it says the heter has to be more expensive. It's not exactly clear, but what I remember is that if they're the same, I believe the halacha is that's not muktzah. I believe that's the halacha, although there are diyukim in both directions, but I think that's the halacha.
Is there something that is more important to you? I've seen that also before. I saw a keychain. The key, the one that you want, is $3 to a copy, and it has let's say, an electric thingy for the car, remote for the car, and that costs $75, $100 to replace. That's what you want, right? I mean, that's more chashuv to you on Shabbos. This is more important to you.
There is such a svara. The Alter Rebbe seems to hold this such a svara. There's a diuk in the Alter Rebbe where he talks about the Shabbos table. Shabbos table. You have the candles on the Shabbos table. So the whole table should be muktzah as a basis l'davar ha'aser. Right? Because the candle is muktzah, high level. Why? Because it has a fire on it. So then the candlestick is a basis for that. And the tray is a basis for that. And the table is also a basis. It's all one big basis. However, says the Alter Rebbe, if you have challah on the Shabbos table, and the Alter Rebbe adds in parentheses that you need for Shabbos, so then it's not Muktzah. Then the whole table is not Muktzah. The table, yeah, I mean the fire and the candlestick and whatever. But the table is not a basis. So what's this challah that you need for Shabbos?
So the flame is muktzah. So anything is more valuable than the flame since it has no
exactly.
value.
That's the question. The flame is not worth a penny. Nobody charges for a flame. And have a light, and anybody will give you a light. Nowadays, it's hard to find smokers, so it's not so easy to find a light. But it doesn't cost anything to get a light. I mean, whatever. Not like it used to be. Not like it used to be. Baruch Hashem. Ask Mr. Vape salesman. Not anymore?
No, Friday was my last day.
Oh, so what do you do now?
Nothing.
Oh,
Yeah, semi-retired for.
You're a young man. You're a young man.
Company called our division closed.
Oh, wow. Shem should help. Amen, amen. So, that's also true. That's also true, but it doesn't have to be. Not that it doesn't say he's talking about a silver candelabra. It doesn't have to be. So here's the thing. The pshat is that Shabbos candles are very important. They're so important that they come before most other things. You have to sell, almost everything to get to buy Shabbos candles. You have to sell the shirt off your back to buy Shabbos candles. So even though that flame is just a flame, but it's a very important flame. However, the challah that you need for Shabbos is more important than the flame, because the halacha says that if you only have money for either the challah or the candle, you buy the challah. Why? Well, it's not mamish deraisa, but the whole point of the candles is to enhance your seudas Shabbos. If you don't have a seudah, so what are you enhancing? No, it's also shalom bayis. It's also shalom bayis, but it's mainly for the seudah. Okay, my friends.
That's like similar to like a basket that has apples and stones inside of it, or like is it?
Yeah, absolutely. The apples and the stones in the basket. The stone, no, I had enough. That's big. No, it's enough. It's enough. I can pass it on. The basket that has apples and a stone in it is going to be not muktzah because the apples are worth more than the stone. Okay, we're going further in the Machaber's Shulchan Aruch. Kalkola, Malaya Peres Masecha, a basket full of fruit with a stone in it. If they are fruits that are moist, what he means is soft, basically, like figs and grapes. You're allowed to take it the way it is. Why? If you'll shake out the pears, it's going to get ruined. But if they are pears that are not going to be ruined, then you have to shake it out. And check out the stone too. Do not take it. Okay, let me just explain. You need the fruit somewhere else. So if you, but you really shouldn't be carrying the stone. So what are you going to do? You can't pick up the stone and take it out. It's totally muktzah. So you want to tip out the basket. Everything falls out. Fruit on the stone. And then put the fruit back in and take it to where you need to go. Problem is, because it's soft fruit, it might get ruined just from tipping it out. So in that case, you don't have to tip it out. You can carry it with the stone. But if it's hard fruit, it's apples, it's oranges, pears, whatever. So then tip it out. Leave the stone on the floor, put everything back in, and take it to where you need to take it. It means soft. I don't think it means wet. I know, but I don't think he means wet. He means moist.
We got
Moist.
So the basket is versus.
The basket is not a basis because the stone is not as worth as much as the fruit is worth.
You can carry if it's sensitive fruit.
Shkoyach, Machaya, thank you very much. Right. Alter Rebbe adds the word rakim ma'oid. Shomea? Alter Rebbe adds the words in hey, retuvim v'rakim ma'oid. Fresh and very soft. Retuvim v'rakim ma'oid. Fresh and very soft. Anyway, the point is, here's another way out of this problem, my friends. This is what I was saying before. The only reason that you have to tip out the stone, if possible, is because we're talking about a case where you don't need the place of the basket. You need the contents of the basket. You need the fruit somewhere else. So there we want to really minimize the carrying of the stone. So we make you tip it out and leave the stone behind if we can. However, if you need the space of the basket, and tipping it out is not going to accomplish it because the stone is going to be in that space and you need the space, then they allow you to carry it, to move it out of the way. This is a very big chiddush. You can move even Muktzah gomer if it's on top of something else and you need the space of both where it is and the thing that's in it is. Understand? That's the answer. I'm sorry?
Even if we have all the two times that we mentioned before?
No. We're talking about a case where you don't have the tanoim to make it a basis. If it's a basis, then the whole thing is muktzah. You can move muktzah gomer for its place. Basis is as muktzah as the thing it's a basis for. If it's a basis for muktzah gomer, it's a muktzah gomer. You can't move muktzah gomer for its place. You can't move a basis for its place. Even if the muktzah gomer got kicked off, you still can move basis for its place because it's as muktzah as the muktzah gomer. Here we're talking about where it's not a basis. For example, here where the stone is worth less than the fruit, it's not a basis. It's in the way. You can move it even if it has muktzah on it.
That's not in the case of the klipot, or the also we discussed bones, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the, I think I asked her if I want the plate where it's on, so you wouldn't be able to. But I was saying if you need the place where the plate is, it would be able to.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, so if I'm not if you're just cleaning the table.
Well, if you need the place at the table, if you
just cleaning the table.
No.
For guests.
Well, if the guests are going to sit at the table, if it's that the guests shouldn't see a dirty table, it's not so posh. If they're going to sit at the table, that's called needing the place. You're sitting at a table, you're not sitting at a dirty table. I think that's called needing the place. I think so. You're not going to technically put your.
Every time we have a situation, I know that content. The first thing we should analyze if it's basis or not. It's basis.
If you're carrying something through something else, yeah, that's the first thing you have to think about. Correct.
Carry, you can move it, you can move it.
Correct. It's as muktzah as the thing that's on. It's a basis.
It's not, we need to look into.
If you can move it without ruining things. Okay. If you forgot a stone on a barrel or money on a pillow, turn the barrel on the side and let the stone fall. You need the barrel somewhere else. You need the wine somewhere else. You have a stone on it. It's not a bus. Let's see. So just tip it off. No big deal. The same thing with the pillow. You have a pillow and money on it. You didn't leave it there on purpose. You forgot it there. Just tip it off and take the pillow.
cannot take the stone and use it with something else.
Muktzah, what do you mean?
I can use it.
It's Muktzah stone. I'm not saying bush.
That's not the scenario for Shabbos or something.
A Muktzah stone
You
you can't use.
use those sort of things.
You can't use a Muktzah stone. You could designate it before Shabbos, but even that either has to be forever, or it has to be with a Misa, or it has to be something that's usual to designate it for. Then you can designate it for even for one Shabbos. Doesn't have to be forever.
You give them stones?
What do you mean?
2 stones. I like them. Just say these stones are my outlanders forever.
Why not?
Say every stone in the world is my outlander forever.
No, that's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah. When I said two, I meant if you're actually going to use them both. You're not saying it. It's dumb. Okay. So, the Moisa Achav ben Achav is ben Sheni Achlat Reisa Isa B'Mkam. Achlat Bia Kamei Mev Lamak Achlat Reisa Shem Kadei Shipol Me'ala. If you lift it up in its place and tip it over, it's going to fall on the next barrel and break it. We don't make you tip off muktzah in a way that's going to cause harm, like we said before. You don't have to tip out the barrel or the basket with stones if it's going to ruin the fruit. So same thing here, you don't have to tip out the stone right away if it's going to cause harm to the other barrels around it. Lift it, move it out of the way, and then tip it over. You lift it up, move it out of the way, and then tip it over. If you put it on it on purpose, okay, my friends, here's the basis, my friends. You've been waiting for this. Halacha Dalet. If you put it there on purpose with the intent of leaving it there for Shabbos, you can't lift it and tip it over because the thing itself is muktzah. The barrel is muktzah. The pillow is muktzah. So tipping it off is no purpose. And you can't. In the case where it's not a basis, you're allowed to tip off muktzah. Move the bottom. Yeah, you can't move the muktzah directly. You can move the bottom to tip off the muktzah. When some say that even if you put it there with the intent that it should stay there at the beginning of Shabbos, in order to take them on Shabbos, you're allowed to turn it and shake it on Shabbos. It's only a muktzah, it's only a bus if you're planning to leave it the whole Shabbos. Listen to this yesh oimim that the Machaber says. Some say that it's not defined just by the question of was it there the entire Bein Hashmashos, but also by did you intend to leave it there the entire Shabbos. For sure it has to have been there Bein Hashmashos. It doesn't spell it out here, but it's spelled out elsewhere. It has to have been there Bein Hashmashos. But if it wasn't there, even if it was there, this opinion says it's only a basis if you were planning to leave it there the whole Shabbos. At Bein Hashmashos, you were planning to leave it there the whole Shabbos. Then it stays a basis whether it's there or not. But if when Shabbos came in, you knew it was there and you wanted it there, but you were planning to remove it, how are you going to remove it? You were planning to tip it off, or you were planning to kick it off, kilach hayad, have a goy take it off, whatever. There's different ways to get it off. So then, according to this opinion, it's not a basis. Because it wasn't intended to remain there the whole Shabbos. And therefore, even when it's on it, it's not a basis. So even if you were planning to leave it there until midday the next day, it's not a basis. Even at night, if you change your mind, you want to take it off at night, it's also not a basis. Because it's not a basis. A basis is defined, according to this opinion, as being left there with the intent of leaving there the whole Shabbos. So then you'll ask, what about the Shabbos candles? Unless you're sorry, you may know the Shabbos candles don't last you the whole Shabbos. So the pshat is that that's only because they finish. But if they would continue, you would leave them there. It's not like you're taking it off. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. If for some reason they would burn slow, they would still be there. You understand? And you would want them to be there. So that's not that doesn't count. That's something you're planning to remove. does not have a din of buses.
Did you mention that?
That's the Yeshayim. We just said it now. Oh, the thing with the fire?
No, you mentioned that if that's one way of getting rid of the buses.
According to the Sippa.
Oh, what's this?
It's a Yeshayim. It's a Yeshayim,
It's
yes.
not
The psak is, the Machaber doesn't give a psak. It's a stam v'yesh. Normally Allah is not like the yesh. However, the Achronim say that you could rely on the yesh oimrim if it's a case of need.
Okay, what if you put on the tray of the Shabbos candle? Is it?
One second. I'm trying to find all the Medish Marshals. 1 second. I'm trying to, here. Mokum Seder. Mokum Seder Yish Smechel Dayazu. Yeah, I'm sorry? Yeah.
Diamond when you push out.
Love Shana.
It's worth more than the.
Doesn't help. First of all, you don't have to take your diamond ring and make your wife nervous. You could, if you want to ask the question, you could ask about a challah. Take the challah, put it on the tree. The challah is more important because the challah is comes before the Shabbat. To the tray, it's more important than the tray also. You have to sell your tray to get this challah.
Okay, so why can't you do that?
The reason you can't do that is because the tray, if it is, depends on the tray. If the tray is meyuchad for the candlestick, then it doesn't. Then it's a basis for the candlestick. The whole thing that I said that if it's a basis for two things, then if the heter is either the same or more than the isser, it's not a basis. That's only if it's not meyuchad for the muktzah. If it's meyuchad for the muktzah, then nothing else will help because that other thing doesn't belong there.
No, what if it's just candles on a, let's say,
If it's tam a tray that's not meyuchad for the candles, that works. Yeah, whatever. If it's a tray that's miyuchad, then nothing else helps. But if it's tam a tray that you use for other things, then you could put a challah, or for sure diamond ring, and then you could move it if you need the place or whatever. Why? You can touch it, absolutely. Yeah. A table that's a bus is also, by the way. You can sit on it, you can lean on it, you can eat on it. You can't move it. That's all you can do. You can't lift it and move it.
If you put a safer on it before Shabbos,
Yes.
then it doesn't make more buses.
Yeah, correct. That's the minhag Yisrael. That's the minhag Yisrael. That a sefer is also renders it not a basis. Which when I was learning this, Deitch said, "What do you mean a sefer is not as important as Shabbos candles? If to sell a sefer to buy Shabbos candles," he said, "No, but a sefer is not bottle." The whole point is that when you say that it's a basis, you're saying that non-muktzah item is bottle. It's not important. A sefer is not bottle. So it's as if it's 50-50, and we'll make all and we say it's not a basis. That was his word.
Does everything else become a basis? Basis on something else.
Yeah.
The whole thing becomes a basis.
Almost the whole thing.
Almost what?
Almost the whole thing. There's a chiddush that the Magen Avraham says, not Rebbe holds of, although the Mishnah Berurah says not everybody agrees, that the tablecloth doesn't become a basis. Because the tablecloth, you don't really need under the candle. You need the tablecloth for where you eat. Technically, if there would be a hole exactly under the tray, you wouldn't mind, but you care. Nobody's seeing it. So it's only that it's not practical. Who has a tablecloth with holes in it? I mean, lemaisa, it's there, but you don't need it there. Understand? So that's a chiddush, that the tablecloth is not a basis. So even if the table is a basis, if the candlesticks can be removed, tablecloth is not. Into that.
What would happen if you put a challah on the same tray when you have your candlesticks?
If it's a tray that is set aside for candlesticks, then it's not going to help. But if it's a general tray, then that would help. And then you can move it if you need the place.
Allah put it on that tray that's not part of the time itself. It has to be a holiday you need.
For Shabbos. Yeah.
You know, the extra holiday.
According to the Alter Rebbe, it has to be a chal that you need. Not saying everybody agrees with that. Not saying everybody agrees with that. Okay, Rabbi Isai, Baba Sali, whose Yorosai was mine last week. So the gas in his tank lasted forever. But I'm running out of battery. I forgot the charger. No, but I'm like left in such a rush.
You're broadcasting from,
Should have just not said anything.
you're broadcasting from YouTube. Is that
That
right?
was Simon and I in the trouble, bro.
What?
You're broadcasting from YouTube.
Yeah.
So any on YouTube, the app,
I tried to get it on my phone last time. I couldn't get it.
You go on the website, let him sign in on your. Then you'd have to get.
Okay, we'll continue for as long as we can. If you left it there on purpose, the Rama says, then even if the Muktzah was removed, you still can't move the thing that's underneath. The mix is Shabbos, because it became a basis l'davar also for part of Shabbos. Also called Shabbos Kula, it's also the entire Shabbos. The same thing applies to all Muktzah. Siman Shin if you put something Muktzah on your friend's item, it does not become a basis, because you have no right to make his stuff Muktzah. Doesn't work.
that's before Shabbos.
For Shabbos, even before Shabbos, even if you have all the conditions of basis for Shabbos, and you wanted it to stay there for the whole Shabbos, and there was nothing else on it, and it's expensive, whatever, it's not a basis. Is it a
bus for the person who placed that item?
I'm sorry?
Is it a
I don't
bus
think so. I don't think even for that person it is, because he has no right to decide, that it belongs there. It doesn't belong there.
No, but I'm saying, but it doesn't belong. Let's say he's sleeping over at that house of his friend, and he puts that, and it creates a bus for himself.
I don't think it's a bus for himself either, because it doesn't go by his. As far as the owner is concerned, it's like it was put there by mistake, and the owner is the one that is important.
Okay,
I believe that's the pshat.
What if there's no owner?
If there's no owner, then it's a basis. Because you put it there on purpose, and there's nobody to say no. There's nobody to say no.
Wife or son, family.
Depends who wears the pants in the family. I'm just kidding.
So does the Yeshom Ream we just had apply for? Does that override this?
One second. Let me answer Emmanuel's question. The Dirshu brings that the Das Torah says a wife has no right to make her husband's stuff buses. How dare she? Unless it's part of the food that she gets. She gets a quota of food. Not a quota, whatever. She gets food to eat. That she can do. Nothing else. Rav Yashiv, however, says, it's already coming in the 21st century. Rav Yashiv and Rav Karelitz say that if the husband lets them use these items as they want, which is almost everything in the house nowadays, then they have the power to make it buses. Actually, as far as the guest is concerned, he says to look later. Moshe, you're asking about the guest? He says to look later. So I'm going to hold. I'm going to take that. I'll take it back to the notice. Yes, Daniel, you were going to ask. Shin Chaf Hey, Sivkat Nalef. Daniel, what were you going to say?
We just had the Yeshom Ream, which said if you didn't intend to, if you intended to move it later on Shabbos, then you could. But does that override what he said here? Because there doesn't seem like the Ramah is talking about intentions at all.
The Ramah does not clearly agree or disagree with the Yeshaymer. But the Mefarshim say that the main halacha is not like the Yeshayim. You can only rely on it in the case of a financial loss or other great need. Rama doesn't specifically rule against the Yeshayim. He's just saying a general thing. If something is basis, according to the first opinion or the second opinion, wherever you go, if it is a basis, the fact that you took it off doesn't change that it's still a basis. Yeah? That which, sorry? Punishment for not keeping Muktzah? Makas Mardas. I think. I mean, whoever is over in the Rabbanan gets Makas Mardas. There's different opinions on what Makas Mardas is. Some say it is 13 Malkas, 1/3 of the Eraisa. Some say it's 39. Mardut means rebellious, for being rebellious. Some say that it's also 39, but it's not as lighter ones. And some say it's Kira'ois Eine HaMoira. They decide depending on what they feel. I didn't see it clearly about Muktzah, but that's a general thing. By Adarabana, the person who's over in Adarabana gets a Makas Mardas. L'chura would apply to Muktzah if it's done on purpose. Don't worry, if it's done on purpose.
Can I ask a shkafic question?
A shkafic question, let's finish the Siman.
No, about Muktzah.
Okay, let's just finish the Siman. Mamash one sif. That which we do not allow only to shake, if you need them themselves. But if you need their place and to shake it off is not enough, you could remove it together with the stone and the money to make room and allow for the place to be used. Yes, your question, Rafal. It's repeating what we said before. I don't know why he has to repeat it, actually. That if something is not a basis, and it's a Muktzah item on top of a non-Muktzah item, you don't have to shake it off if you need the place. If you need the place, you can remove it together with a non-Muktzah item. Go ahead, what were you going to ask?
So let's say someone asks, or someone's asking, like punishments for these type of things. I know that's not the main focus of these halachas. It's to keep our mind on Shabbos and to keep us from follow Shabbos and stuff like that. But when someone asks you, what's the Shem punish me obviously? The answer is yes. What do you? How do you? Is it such a big deal in Shem's eyes that I'm doing this? I guess it's a longer answer. I know probably a longer answer, but I'm just asking in a short version. How would I be able to? How do you tell a person what the punishment, or how should you explain to a person?
We'll say that for another time. Here I am with limited juice, so.
Also, you have to teach people saying.
Okay, says the Alter Rebbe, "Totally they davrachim mutar b'Shabbos v'yid al sifim. Noi tolorim es benoi b'shus hayachid v'evan b'yadeh." A person can take his son in the private domain, who's holding a stone, saying the Alter Rebbe, Aleph. Alter Rebbe, Sif Aleph. Can your phone get YouTube on it? Can you connect to YouTube with your phone?
It's you still need to forward to get people.
How are you going to get people to connect?
Yeah.
If you're on your channel, they can connect? They can watch your channel?
So channel they're recording it.
If you sign into this phone,
If I sign into my Gmail, then it'll work.
even if it's not going to go on YouTube,
It'll go on YouTube, why not?
why is Gmail restricted?
I don't know, because it is.
Right. They set it up to use it.
They own it.
They own it.
They own it. Google bought YouTube.
By signing in here.
They bought YouTube. They own it.
You think that means you're going to be shining on YouTube because you're on Google?
If you
I mean, the logins, the sign.
Kavod Rav?
I don't hear him.
Yeah, I don't hear him. I think we lost him.
Oh, I wonder if his battery died. But I
Yeah,
see his picture.
Yeah, I see his picture too, but I think he's trying to reconnect. That's the last thing I heard.
Yeah, maybe somebody can use their phone there or something like that.
Yeah, so I don't know if you should stay online or disconnect until he sends another link. I don't know how this works.
I don't know. Well, let's stand by.
Yeah. They sent out a link of YouTube in the chat.
Okay, I'll give that a try.
Yeah.
No, it's reflecting.
Oh, yeah, it's reflecting. It's coming around.
David. David, can you hear me?